The gentleman from the 19th District, Mr. Walsh. Representative Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not here to speculate, Madam Speaker. I'm here to tell you with certainty that this is a bad bill and that you and I and all the rest of our colleagues here must vote no on this bad bill. It's bad for a couple of reasons, and let me dig into some of the details. First and most, this is a bill that's going to cost the people of the state of Washington dearly. I'm not speculating. At the least, it will add a few pennies per gallon to the cost of gas. At the most, it will add over 50 cents a gallon to the cost of gas. And even more to diesel. Over 60 cents a gallon it will add to the cost of diesel. This is a hardship on the people of Washington that they've already told us they don't want to bear. And worse still, Madam Speaker, it's a regressive cost. We've talked about this before in this chamber. So many of these public policy principles that we debate here have the worst effect on the people of our state who can least afford them. To the point, people who have to drive more because they live in rural or far suburbs in to see a doctor, in to see about a job, in to go shopping, are going to pay a disproportionately large amount of the tax burden under this low carbon fuel standard, which is really just a fancy way to say a higher gasoline tax. And worse still, a higher gasoline tax that isn't dedicated to the good projects that Washington taxpayers expect gas taxes to go to. You know, when you pump gas and you see that sticker that tells you how much you're paying in tax with each gallon you pump into your vehicle, one of the sort of good things about that is you can think, well, we're buying bridges, we're buying roads, we're doing maintenance to infrastructure with this money. But with this tax, the money doesn't go to those specific good projects. It goes into the black hole, into the maw of our general budget, and that is a place that the taxpayers of Washington are tired of dumping their hard-earned dollars. You know, it would be one thing if this bad bill charged people all this additional tax and actually had some good effect on the global climate carbon situation, on the carbon footprint that our state makes. But it doesn't. At best, it'll reduce our carbon footprint by 1% or 2%. And remember, Madam Speaker, that's off one of the smallest carbon footprints in this nation and this continent and the whole wide world. So really, this is a hardship that we would put on the people of Washington to very little good effect. This is a bad bill for a second reason, Madam Speaker, and this is one that may be even more important. The people of our state have spoken time and again about these sorts of policy points. Critical to what the people have told us is that they're tired of paying more in transportation costs and not seeing good effects. They're tired of paying more in car tabs. They're tired of paying more in gasoline tax. They're tired of paying these additional taxes and seeing their roads in rough shape, and seeing their bridges literally with holes that you can see through the deck down to the water or the ground below. And they're very frustrated that the money that they send to Olympia in the form of these taxes upon taxes upon taxes isn't getting spent well. And we need to heed the voice of the people, Madam Speaker. You know, that doesn't mean we follow every initiative slavishly, but we should look at the big picture We should look at the broad point that the people of Washington are making in their votes on various initiatives that have touched on points like this bill does. And what that broad point is that they don't mind paying reasonable tax for reasonable goods and services, but they are skeptical that taxes like the one envisioned by this bill aren't really about delivering goods, services, and goods to the general public. They're about other things. They're about things that have nothing to do with the practical matters that the people of Washington want us to attend to. You know, I was just speaking yesterday, of course yesterday was Potato Day. I was just speaking yesterday to a potato farmer from my district who talked particularly about the effect that this bill will have on the diesel fuel that he puts into his tractors. And aside from making diesel ridiculously more expensive, it will basically dilute the lubricating quality that the diesel fuel he uses now provides to his tractors. And a tractor that can cost this farmer some $50,000 will last only 3 or 4 years instead of the 10 or 12 years that he tries to get out of them now. So multiply that, Madam Speaker. That's another $100,000 per tractor that potato farmer has to pay over the course of a decade or so of growing potatoes. That will add to the cost of the potatoes that we buy in the store. That will add to the cost of the potato chips that we can eat downstairs. And that will add a greater cost onto all the foodstuffs that the people of Washington pay. And again, when we raise the prices of staple goods, we impact the poorest among us most egregiously. It's a regression and a regressive tax, compounding a regressive tax, compounding a regressive tax. The people have had enough of this bad tax policy, Madam Speaker. And I beg you to remember Article 1, Section 1 of our state's Constitution. All political power is inherent in the people. Let's not be prideful here, Madam Speaker. Let's not think that we know better than our constituents. We don't. This is a bad bill. It promotes bad policy. It adds to the cost of living to the people who can afford such costs least. And it doesn't provide an external good to the global climate. I don't know why this bill is even here, Madam Speaker. It's bad policy, bad policy, bad policy. Please vote no. Thank you.